Chapter 21:13. Out of the 320 people, half of them were martial emperors. This was extremely shocking. 2 years ago, there were only a few people who had reached the martial emperor realm. But now, half of them had reached the martial emperor realm. One could imagine how much progress they had made in that world. Thus, the crowd could not help but think about how strong those who had reached the martial emperor realm 2 years ago were. Everyone looked at Destiny's Child, Yuan Xian, Wu Liang and the others. These people were martial emperors 2 years ago. Now, they were even more unfathomable. They stood calmly on the stone platform. Previously, they had also made a move, but their opponent's strength was too low, and they were all easily killed by them. Many people started to re-evaluate the seeded experts. They started to guess which 10 people would be able to enter the top 10. As for Lu Ming, he was naturally excluded. In the eyes of others, Lu Ming had not reached the martial emperor realm and had already been eliminated from the competition. The battles became more intense. They were all martial emperors. Moreover, those who were fighting were at least king bodies. Although many of them were one-star empty emperors, the Elysian children with king bodies were much stronger than ordinary one-star empty emperors. Many people were eliminated. Long Chen, Huang Li, Autumn Moon, Luo Tianyi and the others were eliminated one after another. They had all encountered terrifying opponents, the Elysian children. Lu Xiang and Ouyang Moli were also eliminated. Their cultivations were still too weak and they had not reached the martial emperor realm. It was difficult for them to compete with the Elysian children who had reached the martial emperor realm. Fortunately, they were all fine. At most, they were injured. This made Lu Ming feel relieved. Boom! Mu Yang fought. He was indeed powerful. A martial emperor with king body was almost killed by him. Half of his body was turned into nothingness. The martial emperor with king body rushed out of the stone platform with difficulty and escaped death. After Mu Yang won, he cast a provocative look at Lu Ming. It was obvious that he was provoking him. Tiyun, you better pray that you don't meet me. Otherwise, you're dead. Mu Yang sent a message to Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't even look at Mu Yang, directly ignoring him. After that, Lu Ming was unsure if he was lucky or unlucky, but in the next few days, he only went to battle once. He encountered a cultivator with a monarch body who had achieved the martial monarch realm and defeated him. On the 10th day of the duel, there were only 50 people left. The reason why it was so slow was mainly because there were many people with similar cultivation levels. The battle was incomparably intense, and it was not easy to determine victory or defeat. There were even people who fought fiercely for half a day before victory or defeat was decided. It was extremely bitter. The remaining 50 people were all terrifying geniuses. There weren't many people left with king bodies, and most of them were Elysian children. Of the 10 lands, with the exception of the wasteland, each of the other 9 lands had a few Elysian children, especially the divine fate lands, which had even more. In total, there were more than 50 Elysian children. More than 50 Elysian children gathered in one era. This was something that had never happened in the primordial realm. Legend had it that such a grand occasion had only occurred in the heaven realm in the distant past. Of the remaining 50 or so people, only Lu Ming was at the quasi-emperor realm. That quasi-emperor is called Tianyun? That's right. His name is Tianyun. His luck is pretty good. He hasn't encountered anyone too strong. Yes, his luck has come to an end. There are almost no weaklings. His combat strength is astonishing among his peers. Unfortunately, his cultivation is too weak. Without achieving the martial monarch realm, he will be eliminated in the end. Around them, some people were discussing and expressing their opinions. At this moment, 2 more stone platforms collided. Many people's hearts skipped a beat. Even Lu Ming revealed an expectant look. This was because one of the 2 people was the ancient demon. Lu Ming knew very well that the ancient demon cultivated the ancient demon path, and his combat strength was extremely powerful. After 4 to 5 years, the ancient demon would definitely be even more shocking. His combat strength would definitely be unfathomable. The other person was definitely not weak. He was also an Elysian child. Like Xiang, he controlled the law of life and had also broken through to the martial monarch realm. This would be a battle between the strong. The two of them did not say anything else and directly attacked. The Elysian child controlled the law of life. With a wave of his hand, the sky was filled with vines as thick as an arm. Each of the vines was extremely tough, like a divine sword, and their killing power was shocking. However, the ancient demon was stronger. His entire body was covered with a layer of demonic light. The demonic light condensed into a battle saber in his hand. He directly charged into the vines that filled the sky. As the battle saber slashed down, the vines were constantly shattered. Some of the vines wrapped around his body, but they were directly shattered by the demonic light on his body. Strong, too strong. As soon as he attacked, the ancient demon had an absolute advantage. He broke through the layers of obstacles and charged at his opponent. The other party used all his strength but was still at a disadvantage. It was difficult for him to match up. This stunned many people. They found it hard to believe. What's going on with him? Why can't I feel the fluctuations of laws on his body? Some youths had never heard of the ancient demon path. At this moment, they shouted in surprise. This should be the ancient demon path, the ancient demon path. An older generation figure spoke and explained. This shocked many people and made them somewhat disappointed. The ancient demon path was so powerful that it could suppress the Elysian child. Don't be discouraged. Now that the law path is flourishing, it naturally has its advantages. The ancient demon path is not so easy to cultivate. That's right. The ancient demon path's cultivation conditions are extremely harsh. Moreover, not every ancient demon path's cultivation system is so powerful. The ancient demon is obviously a peerless genius who cultivates the ancient demon path. Some older generation figures explained so that the youths would not be discouraged. At this moment, the ancient demon's attacks were becoming more and more violent. The demonic light on his body was condensed to the extreme. It was unstoppable and constantly broke through his opponent's attacks and defenses. In the end, both sides exchanged dozens of blows. The opponent was no match for the ancient demon and was sent flying. An Elysian child who had stepped into the martial emperor realm had been defeated. The Elysian child had always been synonymous with invincibility. Apart from other Elysian children, no one could be a match for them. However, today, he had been defeated by a genius from the ancient demon path. This ancient demon is too strong. His attack power is unparalleled. There is a high chance that he will enter the top 10. Yes, there is a high chance that he will be one of the top 10. Many people were optimistic about the ancient demon. Next, after a few more battles, the remaining Elysians with king bodies were all defeated and eliminated. Bubble is going to attack. Lu Ming's eyes moved. He saw Bubble's stone platform move forward and collide with another stone platform. Such a small child, she shouldn't be from the human race. Someone looked at Bubble. She looked to be 2 or 3 years old. She was pink and extremely cute. Some young women's eyes lit up. They wished that they could hug Bubble in their arms and fiercely love her. She is not from the human race. This little girl's origin is very shocking. Chapter 21:14. Many people were even more curious when they heard what the older great emperor said. Senior, what is her true form? Someone asked. You'll know when you see it. She'll most likely reveal her true form in this battle. The great emperor smiled. Bubble's opponent was a very tall and sturdy man. He was almost 3 meters tall and had muscles all over his body like a dragon. In front of him, Bubbles really looked like a small duck. Little fella, reveal your true form. Otherwise, I won't be able to kill you when you're so tiny. The burly man said in a low, muffled voice. Big fella, don't think that you can defeat me just because you're big. If you want me to reveal my true form, we'll have to see what you're capable of. Bubble pouted, her face full of disdain. Little fella, let's see how capable you are. The burly man grinned. In the next moment, he charged at Bubble like a mountain. Boom! He threw out a punch, causing the void to tremble. He was a son of primordial chaos who controlled the primordial law. I'll spit it out, Bubble exclaimed. She opened her small mouth and blew out a transparent bubble that enveloped her opponent. At the same time, Bubbles' figure flashed and disappeared. However, the void rippled. The space shattered like a mirror and turned into terrifying sharp swords that slashed at the burly man. Space-time law. The burly man roared and threw out punches. The transparent bubble shattered and then blasted at the spatial swords. However, when he threw out his fist, the speed of his fist became extremely slow. It was as slow as a turtle. Everyone knew that the burly man was affected by the time law. The time in the void had slowed down, causing the speed of his fist to become extremely slow. Break it! The burly man roared and the primordial law erupted. The primordial law was very similar to the primordial law. It was as heavy as a mountain and every move contained boundless power. The burly man wanted to break through the restraints of Bubbles' space-time law with absolute power. As expected, the burly man unleashed his full strength. The speed of his fist suddenly increased and blasted all the spatial swords. The fist did not stop and continued to attack Bubble. However, the space-time law was unpredictable. Bubbles' figure flashed and disappeared. She shuttled through the void and appeared behind the burly man. She continued to attack him. After Bubble broke through to Martial Emperor, her usage of the space-time laws became even more profound. Her various unfathomable means were stronger than before. Space-time spirit rats were born with the ability to control space-time laws. The further they advanced, the more terrifying their control over space-time became. Otherwise, how could the space-time spirit mouse be known as one of the top 10 beasts? Boom! The burly young man quickly turned around and blasted backward. However, Bubbles' figure disappeared again. Just like that, the two of them exchanged dozens of blows before the burly youth gradually lost his patience. Shao Budian, if you continue to waste time with me, neither of us will be able to do anything to each other. The burly young man roared. Who said that? Chirp. Bubbles shouted and suddenly appeared above the burly man. Both of his hands were waving non-stop. With the burly man as the center, the void rippled like water and transformed into a wave of killing power that shot towards the burly man. Furthermore, with the acceleration of the power of time, the spatial slaughter energy was astonishingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it was already right in front of the burly young man. The burly young man was shocked. He quickly set up layers of defenses around his body to block Bubbles' attack. Rumbling sounds could be heard. At that moment, Bubble opened his small mouth and continuously spat out bubbles. Hundreds of transparent bubbles appeared and then disappeared. The next moment, all of them shrouded the burly young man. The big bubbles covered the small bubbles and shrouded the burly young man in layers. Break, break, break. The burly young man continued to bombard the bubbles, trying to break them. When he smashed all these transparent bubbles, Bubbles stopped and looked at him with a smile, saying, "Big guy, you lost, chirp chirp." What? The burly young man was stunned. Then he looked around and his face turned bitter. It turned out that he had unknowingly left the range of the stone platform. Leaving the stone platform meant that he had lost. Senior, didn't you say that she would reveal her true form? Someone asked the senior from before. This little guy is very smart. When the opponent was careless, she used the space-time laws to move the opponent's body out of the battle platform. I thought that she could only win by revealing her true form. The old man explained awkwardly. Bubble has become stronger. As expected, following me has restrained her and prevented her from unlocking the potential of the space-time spirit mouse. Lu Ming smiled. After Bubble won, the stone platform flew back. The burly young man's stone platform turned to dust and dissipated. He could only withdraw helplessly. He had reached the end of this battle of 10 Earths. Next, every battle was very exciting. It could be said that it was a battle between the strong. There were even Elysian children of the same laws fighting fiercely. Lu Ming saw He fighting against another child of reincarnation. The two of them exchanged more than 1,000 moves before He won with difficulty. However, he was also seriously injured. After winning, he hurriedly healed his injuries. There was also Deathblade who fought against his opponent. After exchanging a few hundred moves, he also won with difficulty. However, there were a few people who won easily. For example, monk Wuliang was now stronger. He defeated an Elysian child of the martial emperor realm in a crushing manner. Yuan Xian was the same. He was strong and domineering. In less than 10 moves he finished his battle. However, the one who made Lu Ming's expression the most serious was the child of destiny. This time, there were many geniuses. There were dozens of Elysian children, but only one of them controlled the law of destiny. Only Lu Ming and Yuan Xian controlled the law of primal chaos. They had the fewest people among the Elysian children. The child of destiny was too strong and unfathomable. It was difficult to measure his combat strength. The reason for that was because his fighting style was too peculiar and too shocking. When he fought with his opponent, he only said one sentence and his opponent was defeated. He said that his opponent was destined to be defeated. Then, his opponent was inexplicably injured and sent flying off the stone platform. This fighting style was simply inconceivable. It shocked countless people. Controlling the law of destiny can control the fate of all things in the world. An older emperor said. Countless people were shocked. Controlling the law of destiny could really control the fate of all things in the world. Didn't that mean that whoever he said would die would die? If that was the case, wouldn't it be too terrifying? He was like a god that ruled over everything. However, another emperor said, in order to use the law of destiny, one had to rely on one's own strength. For example, the child of destiny was now in the Void Emperor realm. It was impossible for him to kill a true emperor. The other party's strength was enough to withstand the law of destiny's attack. Everyone nodded. This made sense. Otherwise, the law of destiny would be too terrifying. Chapter 21:15. The competition continued and there were only a few dozen stone platforms left moving in the sky. As time passed, the number became fewer and fewer. After that, a few more people attracted everyone's attention. A true dragon was incomparably powerful and had unparalleled offensive power. However, there were no fluctuations of laws on his body. A great emperor deduced that he cultivated the immemorial path of demons. The immemorial path of demons was also a type of immemorial path of demons. There was another person who was completely black and looked like an iron tower. He had boundless strength and there seemed to be no energy fluctuations on his body. He only relied on the strength of his physical body to send a martial emperor realm Elysian child flying out of the battle platform. Everyone was shocked. Some great emperors speculated that this should also be a type of immemorial path of demons, immemorial body cultivators. They specialized in body cultivation and the strength of their physical body had reached an earth-shattering level. Some great emperors explained that in the immemorial path of demons, there were body cultivators who could strike down the stars in the sky with just their physical body. It was terrifying to the extreme. There was a burst of discussion. The Battle of the Ten Lands was really unexpected. There were too many experts. Even geniuses of the immemorial path of demons appeared one after another. Immemorial path of demons, immemorial path of demons, immemorial body cultivators appeared one after another and suppressed the Elysian child. Many people speculated that the three of them could enter the top 10. Then, Lu Ming saw that Xing Xinhe also defeated his opponent. After coming out of the Lotus World, Xing Xinhe had disappeared and never appeared again. However, there was no doubt that this person who had always been the #1 genius of Yuan Mountain had become stronger. His opponent was also a Elysian child, but he still defeated his opponent in a domineering manner, attracting attention. After Xing Xinhe defeated his opponent, the stone platform under Lu Ming's feet moved forward. Is it finally my turn? Yang. Lu Ming whispered and then his expression became interesting. The reason for that was because the other stone platform that moved over was actually Mu Yang. What a coincidence! A wisp of killing intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. As for Mu Yang himself, he was also stunned. Then, a cold killing intent spread out like a blade. Bang! The two stone platforms collided. Ha, Tianyun, you're really unlucky. This time, I'll make sure you die miserably. Mu Yang let out a cold laugh. He was too excited. He had been looking forward to meeting Lu Ming. He did not expect that he would really meet him. This time, he was going to avenge himself. Why do I feel like I'm very lucky? Lu Ming smiled. Tianyun encountered Mu Yang. 2 years ago, Mu Yang was defeated by Tianyun and was almost eliminated. However, in the past 2 years, Tianyun did not seem to have improved much and did not break through to the martial emperor realm. On the other hand, Mu Yang has already become a martial emperor. His battle prowess is definitely above Tianyun's. In the battle between geniuses, combat power is important, but so is potential. It seems that Tianyun's potential is not good enough. His future achievements will be limited. Some people were discussing. Some people felt that although Lu Ming's battle prowess was strong, his potential was not enough. Even if he could become a great emperor in the future, it would probably be very difficult for him to achieve much. Bang, bang. Mu Yang stepped towards Lu Ming. His martial emperor cultivation was fully displayed. His aura swept towards Lu Ming like a gale. In such an environment, you still have not broken through to the martial emperor realm. You are really a piece of trash. In the future, you will never be my opponent. No, there is no future. Today, you will die. Mu Yang sneered as his aura grew stronger. Talk too much. Kill. Lu Ming suddenly shouted and charged towards Mu Yang. His eyes were filled with the light of death as he attacked fiercely. You? Mu Yang wanted to continue acting tough, but he did not expect Lu Ming to suddenly attack. He did not follow the rules at all. He roared and retreated rapidly. His hands pressed forward, and the law of nothingness destroyed Lu Ming's attack. Even if you sneak attack, you are still not my opponent. Mu Yang wanted to ridicule Lu Ming, but Lu Ming's attack power suddenly increased. His speed also increased. He directly smashed Mu Yang's attack and slapped Mu Yang's face. Mu Yang let out a miserable scream as his body flew out like a sandbag. He almost flew off the stone platform. He was too miserable. His face was already badly mangled, almost exploding. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Was Lu Ming so strong that he could actually beat Mu Yang? Despicable man, it was just a sneak attack. Some Mu clan experts refused to admit their mistake. I will kill you. Mu Yang roared and dashed toward Lu Ming as if he had gone mad. He exploded with all his strength and rushed towards Lu Ming. A sea formed by the law of nothingness enveloped Lu Ming. Originally, he thought that he could easily beat Lu Ming. He did not expect that he would be beaten so badly by Lu Ming at the start of the battle. He was mad with hatred and wished he could cut Lu Ming into pieces. Lu Ming stood motionless, allowing the sea of nothingness to envelop him. Die for me! Mu Yang roared and exploded with power. His small world revolved. The power of his small world and the law of nothingness worked together to turn Lu Ming into nothingness. However, a river of law revolved around Lu Ming's body, constantly blocking the invasion of the law of nothingness. It's just a river of law. You can't stop me. Mu Yang roared. The sea of nothingness transformed into all kinds of attacking power and attacked Lu Ming. Is that so? Then what if I add another kind? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Suddenly, another river of law appeared on his body. This was a river of law formed by the law of Array Dao. 2 rivers of law revolved around him. How is this possible? Mu Yang roared in disbelief. Hadn't Lu Ming not broken through to martial emperor? How could he control 2 kinds of law? 2 kinds of law? How is this possible? He hasn't broken through to martial emperor, but he can control 2 kinds of law. One is the strongest law, and the other is the law of kings. The scene was in an uproar. Many people shouted in shock. Being able to control 2 kinds of law without breaking through to martial emperor was beyond their imagination. Only the martial emperors were calm. They were not surprised. Many people had seen Lu Ming's previous attacks. Today I'll kill you, Lu Ming said coldly. His arms shook, and the 2 kinds of law merged. Lu Ming struck out with his palm. Mu Yang's sea of nothingness shook violently and then exploded. Lu Ming had 5 kinds of law perfection. After 5 rounds of tempering, his physical body and saint energy were too strong, far surpassing those of the same level. Just his physical body and saint energy were already powerful. Now that he had merged the law of death and the law of array Dao, he exploded and broke Mu Yang's sea of nothingness. Mu Yang's body shook violently, and he almost vomited blood. Swoosh! Lu Ming's body was like a bolt of lightning. He approached Mu Yang and struck out with his palm. Mu Yang tried his best to block, but it was useless. His arm collided with Lu Ming's arm, and it almost broke. The web between his thumb and forefinger was torn, and blood flowed. Bam! Bam! Chapter 21:16. Mu Yang screamed miserably. His face was filled with fear. He turned around and fled, trying to escape from the stone platform. But how could Lu Ming let him do as he wished? He must kill Mu Yang. Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and caught up with Mu Yang in an instant. He blasted a palm on Mu Yang's back. Mu Yang screamed miserably. His body was penetrated, and there was a big hole that penetrated the front and back of his body. Now, his arms were crippled, his body was penetrated, his battle prowess was greatly reduced, he was even less able to contend against Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming leaped up and kicked Mu Yang's face. Mu Yang's body slammed heavily onto the stone platform, causing the stone platform to rumble. A series of cracking sounds could be heard from his body. Dozens of bones were broken. Then, Lu Ming stepped on Mu Yang's face, making him unable to move. This is very similar to the first time Mu Yang challenged Lu Ming. He was also trampled on by Lu Ming and lost all his face. I must kill you. I want you to die without a burial ground. Mu Yang crazily roared. He has really gone crazy. Before the great battle, he was still acting all high and mighty, saying that Lu Ming would definitely die a horrible death. He even mocked Lu Ming for being a good-for-nothing with no potential, unable to break through to martial emperor, and that Lu Ming would never be his match. But now, how many moves has it been since the battle started? He is like a wild dog being trampled on by Lu Ming. This kind of humiliation is driving him crazy. You still dare to threaten me in this kind of situation? Lu Ming was indifferent. He waved his hand and 2 rays of light bombarded Mu Yang's legs, causing them to explode. Mu Yang let out a hysterical, miserable shriek. Although with his current cultivation, even if only his head was left, he could regrow his flesh and restore his body. But this kind of pain is real. Now, his 4 limbs were crippled, his body was penetrated, he suffered heavy injuries, he is in incomparable pain. Yun, you dare to kill me? The experts of my Mu clan are right here. If you dare to kill me, you'll have to face the revenge of my Mu clan. Mu Yang roared. He was certain that Lu Ming would not dare to kill him. He stared viciously at Lu Ming. As long as he didn't die, he would definitely kill Lu Ming in the future, no matter what method he had to use. Bang! Lu Ming's expression became cold, and he directly stomped down. Mu Yang's head was like a watermelon that exploded. Then, a soul flew out and was caught by Lu Ming. It was Mu Yang's soul. At that moment, fear filled the face of Mu Yang's soul. He never thought that Lu Ming would actually dare to kill him. Was he not afraid of the Mu clan's revenge? You're courting death. The experts of the Mu clan were truly enraged. Someone roared, his aura shocking. It was as if the entire world was trembling. Without a doubt, this was a great emperor from the Mu clan. Mu Yang was done for. His physical body was completely destroyed, and only his soul was left. Even if he was reborn, he would not have the same achievements as before. This made the experts of the Mu clan furious. They immediately wanted to attack and kill Lu Ming. But in the next moment, at least 10 cold gazes swept towards the great emperor of the Mu clan. The great emperor of the Mu clan felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured on him. He was instantly extinguished, and his aura was retracted. This was the Battle of 10 Earths. The great emperors of various regions were gathered here, and no one was allowed to disturb them. If he attacked, a group of great emperors would probably attack and kill him. Tun, you'd better let Mu Yang go. The great emperor of the Mu clan did not dare to attack, and could only threaten. Lu Ming sneered, too lazy to care. Tian Yun, let me go. I beg you, let me go. At this moment, Mu Yang was truly afraid. He knew that he had encountered a lawless person who was not afraid of him at all. Lu Ming's gaze was cold. He had no intention of letting Mu Yang go. With Mu Yang's personality, letting him go might be more dangerous. He would definitely take revenge and would not give up. So, what was the difference whether he let Mu Yang go or not? If I let you go, you'll find assassins from the nation of death to assassinate me? Lu Ming said coldly. Mu Yang was stunned, then his face twisted with disbelief. In the end, he shouted hysterically, "You're Lu Ming, you're Lu Ming, you're not dead." Mu Yang's scream spread in all directions and everyone heard it. Many people were stunned. What? He's Lu Ming, the son of chaos Lu Ming? Didn't the people from the nation of death say that they've already killed Lu Ming? Is he not dead? Many people discussed in shock. At this moment, the eyes of the son of chaos Yuan Exen shone like 2 stars as he looked at Lu Ming. Xing Xing, his energy burst out and his body was bathed in white light as he stared at Lu Ming. He's Lu Ming. Qiu Yu, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others were overjoyed. Master, it must be Master. Lu Xiang Xiang and Ouyang Moli were also overjoyed. They finally understood why Lu Ming had helped them. They didn't know who he was, but Lu Ming helped them. They were puzzled before, but now they finally understood. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Lu Ming. So, he's Lu Ming. Some Emperor Realm experts whispered. They had already seen through Lu Ming's true appearance, but they hadn't seen Lu Ming before, so they didn't know that he was Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't hide it. His body began to change, revealing his true appearance. It's really Lu Ming. Some people who had seen Lu Ming before exclaimed in disbelief. I told you, how could Lu Ming die? Huang Li laughed. Death Nation, they really know how to blow their own trumpet. Ouyang Wushuang also laughed. Young Master, Qiu Yu was overjoyed. Some people who were familiar with Lu Ming were overjoyed. Although they didn't believe that Lu Ming was dead, they couldn't help but worry. Death Nation, an assassin organization, was too terrifying. They were afraid that it might be true. Now that they saw Lu Ming, they were finally relieved. Why isn't he dead? The countenances of some of Lu Ming's enemies changed and they became very ugly. Experts from Heng family, He family, Daluo Heaven sect, Wan family, Golden Crow clan, Sky Wolf Pagoda, and other forces stood in the crowd, feeling indignant and regretful. They couldn't wait for Lu Ming to be killed. This was especially so for the forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land. Lu Ming was getting stronger and stronger. He was giving them too much pressure and they were very worried. It's really you. The son of chaos, Yuan Exan, was shrouded in chaotic light. He was like a god of war, staring at Lu Ming. He had been invincible all his life and rarely suffered losses. However, during the assessment of Hunyuan sect, he suffered a great loss. He was defeated by Lu Ming and lost the last inheritance. Moreover, the inheritance of the Chaos Emperor was also in the hands of Lu Ming. He and Lu Ming were bound to fight. That's not right. How could he be Lu Ming? Isn't he the son of death who controls the law of death? Someone calmed down and finally found the problem. Lu Ming used the law of death previously. However, Lu Ming was the son of chaos. The scene was very lively and many people were discussing. Now, it suddenly quieted down and there was no sound at all. Everyone stared at Lu Ming with their eyes wide open. They couldn't wait to see through Lu Ming. Even those great emperors were the same. Huang Ling and those who were close to Lu Ming were also the same. They were in disbelief. Chapter 21:17. A single person had actually mastered 2 supreme laws? Everyone was dumbfounded, unable to believe it. Some even suspected that someone had disguised himself as Lu Ming. However, a great emperor spoke up to prove that this was Lu Ming's true appearance and that he had not disguised himself. The scene was in an uproar. One person could actually control 2 supreme laws at the same time, and they were below the martial emperor realm. Then, in addition to the array Dao law from before, wouldn't Lu Ming control 3 supreme laws? It was a complete uproar. This was unprecedented. Heavens, it's heaven-defying. Lu Ming is going to defy the heavens. One person controlling 2 supreme laws at the same time, how is it possible? Even a martial emperor can't do it. The supreme laws are incompatible, This has been the truth since ancient times, and now the truth has been broken. Many people shouted, even many of the older generation were the same, mainly because the impact was too great. It was as if the truth that they had always believed in had collapsed in an instant, and they could not calm down. Even the thearchs could not calm down, looking at Lu Ming as if he was looking at a monster. How is this possible? How is this possible? Those who had a grudge with Lu Ming, such as the Heng family, were all in disbelief. Boom. At this moment, Yuan Exin, Destiny's Child, and the other strongest geniuses could not stay calm, and a terrifying aura erupted from their bodies. Invincible, Big Brother Lu Ming is invincible. Bubbles screamed even louder. Master is invincible. Lu Xiang and Ouyang Moli also cheered. Lu Ming touched his nose. He knew that once he revealed his true identity, it would definitely cause an uproar and shock the world. However, he still did not hide it. Because if he faced Yuan Xian, Destiny's Child, and the others later, he would definitely not be able to hide it and would have to use his full strength. Sooner or later, he would be exposed. In addition, now that the energy in the heavenly Thearcha's body had been stored up to 36%, he had confidence and fewer worries. If the Mu clan wanted to make a move on him, Xiang, Xiaoyu, and the others after the 10 Earths battle ended, he could just take them and run. In any case, the heavenly monarch's physical body was shockingly strong. Not to mention, there was still Emperor Wu Xiang, Uncle Kong, and the others. At this moment, Uncle Kong, Emperor Wu Xiang, and the others were unable to calm down as they stroked their beards with all their might. They had lived for countless years, but this was the first time they had seen something like this. Let me go. At this moment, Mu Yang was nearly scared to death as he screamed crazily. One person could actually control 2 supreme laws. No wonder his combat prowess was so terrifying. He was about to be scared to death. Mu Yang, it was you who ordered the Death God Nation to assassinate me, right? Lu Ming said coldly. Lu Ming, spare my life. Mu Yang screamed in terror. Many people's hearts stirred. It seemed that this was really Mu Yang's doing. He had asked the people from the Nation of Death to assassinate Lu Ming. They did not know what method Lu Ming had used to avoid death. Moreover, the people from the Nation of Death had mistakenly thought that they had killed Lu Ming. Despicable, you can't defeat my master, but you secretly ordered assassins to kill him. Damn it. Master, kill him. Xiang and Ouyang Moli were filled with righteous indignation. They couldn't wait to kill Mu Yang personally. Myang, rest in peace. Lu Ming said. Then, under Mu Yang's terrified gaze, he clenched his fist and a terrifying force directly crushed Mu Yang's soul, causing his soul to scatter. Damn it. The Mu family's great emperor roared as his eyes were extremely sinister. An Elysian child was killed just like that. Their hearts were bleeding. A king body was said to have the potential to become a great emperor, and an Elysian child was undoubtedly stronger. The chances of them breaking through to the great emperor realm were very high, and they could even take a step closer and touch the supreme heavenly emperor realm. Such a genius would be treated as a treasure by any force. But now, he was killed by Lu Ming in front of everyone, and his soul scattered. After killing Mu Yang, the stone platform that represented Mu Yang turned into a puff of green smoke and dissipated. Lu Ming returned to the stone platform and floated back. Pairs of eyes fell on Lu Ming. Some were filled with solemnity, while others were filled with intense battle intent. Previously, no one took Lu Ming seriously. No matter how strong a quasi-emperor was, he wouldn't be a threat to them. But now, it was different. Lu Ming had killed Mu Yang, and for the first time, he had mastered 2 supreme laws. Most importantly, Lu Ming didn't use the law of primal chaos when he killed Mu Yang. If he used the law of primal chaos and the law of death, how powerful would it be? Everyone reevaluated Lu Ming's battle strength. Of course, there were also people who didn't think highly of Lu Ming. They thought that mastering 2 supreme laws at the same time was already unprecedented. It was impossible to fuse 2 supreme laws and increase the power of the 2 supreme laws. Many people agreed with this point of view. While everyone was unable to calm down, the competition continued. After Lu Ming and Mu Yang's battle, there were only 20 or so people left. It could be said that those who remained were all experts among experts. Every battle attracted everyone's attention. Destiny's Child, Yuan Xin, Wu Yang, and the others still defeated their opponents. Deathblade had finally reached the end. He encountered a true dragon that seemed to cultivate the immemorial demonic Tao. It was incomparably powerful. Although Deathblade did his best, he was still not a match for it. After a few dozen moves, he was defeated. Eternal Star River also encountered a powerful opponent. However, he was indeed very strong. After exchanging over 100 moves with his opponent, he narrowly won. Bubble also defeated his opponent. When it was Lu Ming's turn again, his opponent was not strong. He was slightly weaker than Mu Yang and was defeated by Lu Ming. Slowly, there were only 13 people left. 13 stone platforms floated in the air, sizing each other up. These 13 people could be said to be very strong. Among them, Destiny's Child, Yuan Xin, Wu Yang, the true dragon that cultivated the immemorial demonic Tao, the immemorial physique cultivator, and the space-time child were the ones who received the most attention. Because these people had stepped into the martial emperor realm 2 years ago. 2 years later, they were undoubtedly stronger. Their strength was unfathomable. However, these people had yet to encounter each other. Could it be related to the stone platforms? Lu Ming pondered. Perhaps the stone platforms could also roughly distinguish the strong and weak. Therefore, some of the strongest people would automatically avoid them. This was very likely. If some of the strongest people encountered them first, it would be unfair. The stone platforms rotated. Then 2 stone platforms flew out and collided with each other. One of them was Destiny's Child. The person who collided with Destiny's Child had an ugly expression. He actually encountered Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child's name was Tianming. Using Destiny City as his name, one could see that his heart was higher than the heavens. Moreover, he was worthy of this name. Tianming was dressed in white. His long hair reached his waist. He was unbelievably handsome, like the legendary god's child. Chapter 21:18. Destiny's Child, Tianming, was thought to be the most likely candidate to win the competition. Before the competition, Yuan Xin was the only one who was thought to be able to compete with Tianming. Of course, there were many dark horses now, such as Wu Liang, the True Dragon, and the Primordial Physique Cultivator. However, most people still thought that Tianming would have no problem winning the competition. Destiny's Child controlled fate, and there were only a few in history. Almost every one of them stood at the peak and became a peak expert. Do you want to admit defeat? Tianming asked his opponent calmly with a smile on his face. Among the top 10 laws, the law of destiny is faintly superior to the other laws. I want to experience it, the young man said. He was also a very powerful child of heaven. 2 years ago, he was about to become a great emperor. After 2 years of cultivation, his cultivation had reached the peak of 1-star void emperor. How could he surrender without a fight? Tianming shook his head and said, "From the moment you said that, your fate was already sealed. You will lose." What bullshit fate is this? My fate is up to me, not the heavens. No one can control my fate. The young man shouted and charged at Tianming. You are destined to be struck by lightning, Tianming said with a smile. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, endless lightning appeared out of nowhere and struck at his opponent. Every bolt of lightning was multicolored. There were 5 different colors, and they were as thick as an arm. Their power was shocking. The densely packed lightning directly drowned the young man. The young man let out a long howl and unleashed a crazy burst of power, using a divine ability to resist the lightning. Your fate is to be burned by fire, Tianming said again. Then, endless flames appeared. They were incomparably terrifying flames that drowned the young man. Your fate is to be cut by a blade. Your fate is to be hammered, Tianming said continuously. Every word he said was coming true. All kinds of attacks were launched at his opponent endlessly. Finally, the young man couldn't resist anymore. He vomited blood and was sent flying out of the stage. Tianming, on the other hand, had a smile on his face from beginning to end. He stood on the stone stage in his white robe, not moving a single step. He was extraordinary. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, shocked beyond words. The law of fate was too terrifying. Could it really decide one's fate? If he said that the other party was going to be struck by lightning, then he was going to be struck by lightning. If he was going to be slashed by a saber, then he was going to be slashed by a saber. It was as if he was controlling the fate of others. Even Lu Ming had a serious look in his eyes. Heaven's Will's stone platform flew back. There were still 12 people left. After another 20% of the competition, the top 10 would be determined. Soon, 2 more stone platforms flew out and collided with each other. Everyone was shocked again. This time, the one who stepped out was Yuan Xen. His opponent's face also darkened. In the eyes of others, Yuan Xen was someone who could compete with Tian Ming. Encountering him was just bad luck. Boom! Yuan Xen directly attacked, domineering and overbearing. His primal chaos divine fist was unparalleled in terms of offensive power. The moment he attacked, he would crush his opponent crazily. His opponent might be powerful, but he was still at a disadvantage. He was no match for him at all. Yuan Xion's cultivation is definitely not a 1-star empty emperor. I'm afraid he's already a 2-star empty emperor. Someone guessed. Many people nodded. This was normal. Yuan Xen had already become an empty emperor 2 years ago. In the past 2 years, he had encountered many opportunities. How could he not have improved? Not long after, Yuan Xion's opponent was defeated. He coughed up blood and left the battle platform. After Yuan Xen retreated, there were still 11 people left. Then 2 more stone platforms collided with each other. It's him, an archaic body cultivator. Lu Ming's eyes moved, revealing a look of interest. One of them was the archaic body cultivator named Baoda. This person was almost 3 meters tall. He was bald and his body was pitch black like a piece of black coal or a piece of black steel. He seemed to be filled with endless power. Archaic body cultivators specialized in cultivating their physical bodies. Their physique was unparalleled and their power was endless. Lu Ming was very interested. His flesh had been tempered by the law 5 times in a row and contained 3 streaks of chaotic qi. It was already very powerful. But compared to Baoda, there was still a big gap. Baoda's opponent's face was also very ugly. This was because Baoda was also considered one of the strongest few people. Why were the opponents of the last 3 people facing the strongest ones? Ha, little one, make your move. Baoda grinned and walked towards the other party like a giant. Boom! Baoda made his move. It was simple and direct. He directly threw out a punch. This punch directly pierced through space. His pitch-black fist was like an immemorial divine mountain as it pressed down on the other party. His opponent was not weak either. He could be said to be very strong. He erupted with all his strength to resist Baoda. Unfortunately, he was still unable to match Baoda. Baoda's fist landed and directly pierced through the strongest law. His opponent's face changed drastically. He quickly retreated and was almost sent flying out of the stone platform by Baoda. Little one, you can't do it. Ha! Baoda laughed. His 3-meter-tall body directly charged towards his opponent at an astonishing speed. Boom! His opponent used all his strength and blasted out a divine ability. But when it landed on Baoda's body, it was useless. It did not break Baoda's defense. Baoda's body was like a divine weapon. He broke through his opponent's attack and then ruthlessly slammed into his opponent's body. His opponent groaned. Crackling sounds came from his body. Then he vomited a large mouthful of blood. His body was directly sent flying out of the battle platform. Many people gasped. This Baoda was really terrifying. His strength was endless. He defeated his opponent in just a few moves. What a terrifying power. It's pure physical strength. In the crowd, Huang Li and Long Chen's faces were very solemn. They cultivated the law of force and were known as the ultimate strength. But compared to Baoda, they were far behind. After Baoda defeated his opponent, there were only 10 people left on the scene. The top 10 were born. They were Tianming, Yuan Xen, Wu Liang, Baoda, the true dragon Aoku, the space-time sun, Yun Haoge, Bubbles, Heng Xinghe, Ancient Devil, and Lu Ming. Everyone's eyes fell on the 10 people. In the entire land of Yuan Mountain, there were countless geniuses. The 10 strongest geniuses were the focus of everyone's attention. Alright, now that the top 10 have been born, I'll give you 3 days to recuperate. 3 days later, the final battle will begin. The white-haired old man stepped forward and announced, "Master is too powerful." And Bubbles, Lu Xiang, Ouyang Moli, and the others cheered excitedly. However, most of them did not look good because the geniuses that they thought highly of had failed and did not enter the top 10. "Senior, I'm not convinced." At this moment, a voice sounded, causing everyone to quiet down. A young man stepped forward and cupped his fists at the white-haired old man. "I'm not convinced either." "Me too." Chapter 21:19. Everyone recognized that 3 of them were the last 3 youths who had been defeated by Tian Ming, Yuan Xan, and Baoda. The other 2 youths were also the ones who had encountered Tian Ming and Yuan Xan. There were 5 of them in total. "What's wrong with you?" the white-haired old man asked. "Some of them aren't strong enough to enter the top 10. "That's right, they were just lucky and didn't encounter any strong opponents. That's why they aren't convinced." The youths spoke one after another. Everyone understood. These youths felt that they were too unlucky to have encountered Tian Ming, Yuan Xian, and the others. They were defeated because Tian Ming and the others were too strong. Many of them had not encountered Tian Ming and the others in the top 10. Therefore, these youths felt that they had only lost because of luck and not because of strength. Many of them had the same thought, especially when their gazes swept over Lu Ming, Bubbles, and Heng Xinghe. "I see." The white-haired old man nodded and said, "The stone platform under your feet has a special effect, so some people won't encounter you in advance. However, you won't be convinced if you don't fight. How about this? I'll give you a chance. You can challenge any one of the 10 youths. If you can win, you can replace them." Hearing this, the youths' eyes lit up. At the same time, their gazes fell on Lu Ming, Bubbles, and Heng Xinghe with strong battle intent. They were unconvinced because of Lu Ming's group. They felt that they were stronger than Lu Ming, Bubbles, and Heng Xinghe. Lu Ming might have mastered 2 supreme laws, but his cultivation was only at the quasi-emperor realm. Although he had defeated Mu Yang, which one of them wasn't stronger than Mu Yang? There was also Bubbles, a 3 to 4-year-old child who was only a 1-star illusionary emperor. They had nothing to fear. It was the same for Heng Xinghe, who was only a 1-star illusionary emperor. As for the Ancient Devil, although he was also a 1-star illusionary emperor, he cultivated the immemorial demon Dao and his battle strength was extremely strong. They had no confidence in defeating him. As for Tian Ming, Yuan Xian, Wu Liang, Baoda, Xieku, and Yun Haoge, they did not consider them. These 6 people had already become emperors 2 years ago and their strength was unfathomable. "I'll challenge first." A red-haired youth stepped forward. "What right do you have to challenge first?" "I'll go first." "I'll go first." There were 5 young men in total, all of whom wanted to challenge Qin Nen first. He would definitely have an advantage if he chose to challenge the weakest one first. Finally, the white-haired elder had them draw lots to decide who would go first. In the end, a tall and thin youth was the first to fight. This person had been defeated by Baoda. Now, he was the first to challenge someone. His gaze swept over Lu Ming, Bubbles, and Stellar River, and finally landed on Stellar River. "You also cultivate eternal laws? Come out and fight me." The lanky youth spoke because he also cultivated in the eternal laws. "I was just about to fight you." Xinghe's eyes shone brightly as he stepped out, emitting a powerful aura from his body. Both of them cultivated in the eternal laws. The 2 of them weren't the only geniuses who cultivated the eternal laws. However, there was no doubt that the 2 of them were the strongest. Bang! Bang! Suddenly, the 2 of them moved and engaged in a fierce battle. The eternal laws collided continuously, and the battle was incomparably intense. In the beginning, the 2 of them were evenly matched. After exchanging more than 100 moves, it was difficult to determine the winner. However, after more than 100 moves, Xinghe began to gain the upper hand and suppressed his opponent. Xinghe roared with a wild aura. His long hair danced in the wind, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. Back then, he had been defeated by Lu Ming. After that, he had been in seclusion and focused on cultivation. In the end, he had transformed and become stronger than before. Good huh? Great Emperor Heng laughed heartily. After a few more moves, Xinghe sent his opponent flying off the stone platform and won. The first challenge ended in failure, causing the remaining challengers to look a little solemn. Originally, Xinghe was the weakest in their eyes, but he still failed the challenge. Now it's my turn. The young man with fiery red hair who had been defeated by Tianming stepped out. Finally, his gaze landed on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, come out and fight me. The young man with fiery red hair stared at Lu Ming. Do you think I'm a pushover? Lu Ming pursed his lips. With a thought, the stone platform under his feet flew forward. The young man with fiery red hair landed on the stone platform. The stone platform was equivalent to a battle stage. Lu Ming, you haven't become an emperor. Although you have mastered 2 supreme laws, I can still defeat you, the young man with fiery red hair clamored, trying to provoke Lu Ming. You're so impatient. Before the young man with fiery red hair could finish his words, Lu Ming rushed towards him and used the law of chaos and the law of array. The 2 laws merged and used the chaotic divine palm to strike the young man with fiery red hair. The young man with fiery red hair erupted and used all his strength to fight against Lu Ming. Lu Ming's fusion of the law of chaos and the law of array was stronger than the fusion of the law of death and the law of array. After all, the chaotic divine palm was a divine ability of the law of chaos. Lu Ming's attacks were like a storm, constantly attacking the young man with fiery red hair. In an instant he blasted out hundreds of palms. Bam! Bam! After hundreds of collisions, the young man with fiery red hair's arm went numb and was almost broken. His body kept shaking and he kept retreating. Since the beginning of the fight, he had been suppressed by Lu Ming and was completely at a disadvantage. He could not resist and was forced to retreat from the stone platform. You still dare to challenge me? You're just a sosa. Lu Ming pursed his lips and flew back to the stone platform. Lu Ming didn't use the fusion of the law of chaos and the law of death. Could it be that he really didn't fuse these 2 laws? It's naturally not that easy to fuse 2 supreme laws. Even so, his strength is still very strong, slightly stronger than the stellar river. Some people discussed. The faces of the remaining challengers turned even uglier. The few who they thought were the weakest had such strength. Could it be that they would not succeed in their challenge? Then a young man challenged Bubble. Bubble still did not transform into his true body. Relying on the mysterious space-time law, he played with the opponent for 1 or 200 moves. In the end, he inexplicably sent his opponent off the stone platform and won. The remaining 2 challengers looked at each other. In the end, they sighed and shook their heads, giving up on the challenge. Even Lu Ming, Bubble, and Heng Xinghe were so strong. They had no confidence in challenging the remaining challengers. They would only be beaten up, so they might as well not challenge. At this point, the top 10 were officially born. After a round of challenges, no one doubted the combat strength of Lu Ming and the others. They were the top 10 strongest people among the younger generation in Yuanlu. The 10 of them sized each other up, creating dazzling sparks when they collided. Chapter 2120. Especially Heng Xinghe, most of his attention was on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, I'll defeat you this time. Heng Xinghe said with an intimidating look in his eyes. I'll be waiting for you. Lu Ming's reply was simple. To be honest, he didn't take Heng Xinghe seriously anymore. Lu Ming's current opponents were Tianming and Yuan Exin. Yun Haoge, on the other hand, looked at Bubbles with greed in his eyes. Little guy, you must be a divine beast, right? You can control the laws of space and time. How about this? Be my pet and fight with me. Yun Haoge said. He was indeed eager. It would be of great help to him if he had a pet that could control the laws of space and time with him. You're more like my human pet. Bubble curled its lips in disdain. I will make you accept it wholeheartedly. Yun Haoge said coldly. Brother Lu Ming, is that guy an idiot? He wants me to be his pet. Bubbles' figure flashed and it appeared on Lu Ming's body. Its small body hung on Lu Ming's body like an octopus. He is indeed an idiot. Lu Ming smiled and patted Bubbles' head. Everyone was stunned. It turned out that Lu Ming and Bubble were so close. Was Bubble Lu Ming's pet? Was it Lu Ming's pet? That would be terrifying. The two of them had entered the top 10. Yun Haoge became gloomy and glanced at Lu Ming coldly. On the other side, Bao De Chil and the Ancient Devil were also staring at each other and unleashing their combat strength. All three of them practiced the archaic system and were geniuses. They naturally wanted to see who was better. Among the top 10, only Tian Ming stood there calmly with a smile, as if he had nothing to do with it. Everyone was looking forward to the battle. The battle hadn't even started yet, but the atmosphere was already tense. The final battle between the top 10 would definitely be exciting and epic. In the history of the primordial realm, there had never been so many geniuses born, nor had there ever been a battle of the 10 Earths. This great battle was unprecedented. Many of the Elysian children were reduced to foils. If this was said a few decades ago, they would have laughed to death. In the past, an Elysian child was a legend, a character capable of suppressing an era. However, in this era, he was reduced to a supporting role, which made countless people excited. This battle was destined to be recorded in the annals of history, to be passed down through the ages. Rest up. We'll fight in 3 days. The white-haired old man announced once more. Everyone found a place to rest. Lu Ming walked towards Autumn Moon and the others. Young master, I knew you would be fine. Autumn Moon was overjoyed. She threw herself into Lu Ming's arms, ignoring the strange looks from others. Lu Ming. Huang Ling walked over. Her gaze was a bit complicated, but it disappeared in a flash, hidden by her. Then, the others also came over to greet Lu Ming. Master. Xiang Xiang and Ouyang Moli bowed to Lu Ming. At the side, many people did not know that Xiang Xiang and Ouyang Moli were Lu Ming's disciples. When they saw this, they were dumbfounded. Lu Ming was young and extraordinary. Now, he actually had 2 disciples of the Elysian children. It was really shocking. Even the great emperors were envious. You too, cultivate well and strive to become great emperors as soon as possible. Lu Ming looked at Xiang Xiang and Ouyang Moli. At the same time, he thought of himself. It seemed that it would be very difficult for him to become a great emperor. From the looks of it, he would probably be surpassed by his 2 disciples. This made his old face blush slightly. Then, Lu Ming bowed to Emperor Wu Xiang, Uncle Kong, and the others. Lu Ming this time, do your best. After the Battle of the 10 Lands, there will be great opportunities waiting for you. Emperor Wu Xiang smiled and transmitted his voice to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was shocked. There were great opportunities waiting for them. However, thinking about it, it made sense. Previously, it was just a selection, but they could enter the world left behind by the primordial world. Now that it was the final battle, how could there be no opportunities? I will do my best. Lu Ming nodded. Then, Lu Ming chose a place and sat cross-legged in the air. He circulated his qi and adjusted his condition to the best. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. The final peak battle was about to begin. The white-haired old man stood at the top of Destiny Mountain. With a wave of his hand, a huge battle platform appeared on top of Destiny Mountain. It was 100 miles wide and was purple-gold in color. It was filled with a noble aura. Obviously, the final battle would take place on this battle platform. The final battle of the top 10 will be fought in turns. Each person will have to fight with the other 9 and be ranked according to their winning percentage. The white-haired old man said. Lu Ming nodded. As he expected, they would use this hairstyle. This was the fairest way to determine the ranking. It was completely based on one's strength and there was no luck involved. This was the most commonly used method. Throughout Lu Ming's journey, he had encountered this method more than once or twice. Also, in the battle between you all, no one is allowed to kill. The white-haired old man added. Many people nodded. Each of the last 10 people was extremely talented. If they died because of this, it would be a great loss. That was why there was such a rule. Lu Ming secretly felt that it was a pity. He originally wanted to take this opportunity to deal with Xinghe. Okay, now I will decide the order of the battle. The first battle, Xinghe against Lu Ming. The white-haired old man announced. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He didn't expect the first battle to be him. Moreover, his opponent was Xinghe. Could it be that the white-haired old man did this on purpose? The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up. This was good too. He would start with Xinghe. Lu Ming took a step forward and landed on the battle stage. Xinghe's figure also landed on the battle stage. His eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. It was as if a flame was burning fiercely. Lu Ming, this time, you will definitely lose. Xinghe shouted loudly. His fighting spirit was soaring. You have already lost back then. Now, you are even less of a match for me. Lu Ming shook his head. His voice was silent. Many people were stunned and revealed a look of realization. It seemed that Lu Ming and Xinghe had already fought before. Xinghe and Lu Ming are both from Yuan Mountain. Naturally, they have already fought before. It seems that Xinghe is not a match for Lu Ming. He has already lost before. Many people discussed. For that time, Lu Ming just used a trick. The people of the Heng family were indignant and explained. As for the powerhouses of various forces in the Yuan Mountain area, they were watching with rapt attention. Lu Ming and Heng Xinghe both came from the land of Yuan Mountain. In the past, Heng Xinghe had always been known as the #1 prodigy in the land of Yuan Mountain. Since Lu Ming's rise, this phenomenon had changed. Whoever won this battle would be the #1 prodigy of the Yuan Mountain area. Xinghe, then I will crush you. I will let you understand the gap between us. Lu Ming said faintly. Bang! Bang! Chapter 21:21. Lu Ming stepped forward, and with every step he took, a river of law appeared on Lu Ming's body. When he took the first step, the law of chaos turned into a river and surrounded Lu Ming's body. When he took the second step, another river of law appeared. It was the river of law of death. Chaos and death, the two strongest rivers of law, surrounded Lu Ming's body and attracted everyone's attention. This was because this was a scene that had never appeared in the Yuan realm since ancient times. It was a miracle. Many people even took out their breath shadow stones to record all of this. Then, a shocking scene appeared. The two rivers of law merged together and turned into a two-colored river of law. It's merged, the two strongest laws have merged together. Someone shouted excitedly. Oh my God, it's heaven-defying, the two strongest laws have really merged together. It's a miracle. Countless people roared, and even many great emperors could not calm down and open their eyes wide. Two supreme laws fused together. This could be called a legend. At this moment Yuan Exin, Baoda and the others were shocked. My hair, why is this guy always so crazy? Monk Wuliang chanted a Buddhist mantra, and his face turned bitter. Even Tian Ming, who had always been calm, had his smile disappear at this moment, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Stellar River was also shocked, and showed a look of disbelief. I'll defeat you. Lu Ming took a step forward, charging toward the Stellar River like a bolt of lightning. Eternal Divine Bell. Stellar River roared. He was unwilling to give up, and he still wanted to fight. A divine bell appeared on his body. There were ancient patterns on it. Clang. The eternal divine bell vibrated, and a terrifying sound of killing erupted. Compared to the past, the power of Stellar River's eternal divine bell was many times stronger. However, now that Lu Ming had merged the law of chaos and the law of death, in addition to his extremely condensed saint power and physical strength, the combat strength that erupted was too strong. Lu Ming ignored Stellar River's attack, and his body did not stop, and he continued to charge. When those sounds of slaughter landed on Lu Ming's body, they were blocked by the two-colored river of laws. They couldn't break through Lu Ming's defense at all. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming approached the Stellar River. Boom! Lu Ming used the Chaos Divine Palm and fused two supreme laws of nature to strike the Eternal Divine Bell in the Stellar River. The Eternal Divine Bell vibrated violently, releasing terrifying sound waves that swept out in all directions. A few true emperors and grand emperors created a barrier in front of them. Otherwise, they would have been injured. The weaker ones would have died from the shockwaves. Kacha. Cracking sounds could be heard from the eternal godly bell as cracks began to appear on it. The cracks were like a spider web as they covered the entire eternal godly bell. Bang! In the end, the eternal divine bell exploded and turned into specks of light before dissipating. Lu Ming's palm force didn't stop, bombarding Xinghe's body. Xinghe's body was like a scarecrow, flying out and heavily falling to the ground, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. Defeated. Xinghe was defeated in a single move. Many people were stunned. Is the fusion of two supreme laws so terrifying? Someone's voice was dry and filled with disbelief. Xinghe was a peerless genius who made it into the top 10. Yet, he was defeated in a single move by Lu Ming. The gap between them was shocking and horrifying. Since ancient times, no one in the primordial realm has mastered two supreme laws, and no one has fused them together. No one knows what kind of power the fusion of two supreme laws will have. Someone said solemnly. Everyone took a deep breath. That was indeed the case. Moreover, they thought about how many laws Lu Ming could control. Every time he controlled a river of laws, he would refine his saint force and body. No wonder Lu Ming's combat strength was so strong. They finally understood. You've lost. Lu Ming said indifferently as he looked at Xinghe indifferently. Xinghe vomited another mouthful of blood. He couldn't accept this result. Back then, he was the #1 genius of the primordial realm. He was high and mighty and looked down on others. When he first met Lu Ming, he didn't care about Lu Ming at all. Even if he knew that Lu Ming was the son of chaos, he didn't care. He thought that he was strong enough to suppress all enemies and would not be defeated. But later, in the Lotus world, he was defeated by Lu Ming. However, at that time, Lu Ming had used some kind of secret technique. He always thought that Lu Ming had borrowed external force and that he wouldn't be defeated with his own strength. Over the years, he had been cultivating in seclusion. Especially when he knew about the Battle of the 10 Earths, he cultivated even harder. He wanted to amaze everyone in the Battle of the 10 Earths and completely suppress Lu Ming and trample him under his feet. Even though there were many geniuses this time and it was beyond his imagination, he still managed to make it into the top 10. Unfortunately, his opponent, Lu Ming, performed even more amazingly. Although he hadn't become an emperor, he had mastered two types of strongest laws. And now, he had defeated him in one move. His combat strength was strong enough to look down on him. At this moment, his confidence and belief suffered a great blow. He kept coughing blood. Damn it! Great Emperor Heng roared. Lu Ming was the nemesis of the Heng family. Master is mighty. Master is invincible. Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Emoli were making a big fuss. They were even happier than if they had won. Do you want to fight again? Lu Ming continued to step forward. The two-colored river of laws surrounded him like a god descending to the mortal world. Xinghe hadn't admitted defeat yet. If he wanted to fight again, Lu Ming could ruthlessly torture Xinghe. Unfortunately, Xinghe didn't give him the chance. I've lost. Xinghe was very unwilling, but he could only admit defeat. Otherwise, he would only be tortured. I've said it before. If I can defeat you once, I can defeat you twice. You'll never be my opponent in the future. Lu Ming left this arrogant sentence and then flew out of the fighting ring. Xinghe's expression was ugly. He also left the battle stage and took a pill to heal his injuries. This was only his first battle. There were more battles waiting for him. The first battle, Lu Ming wins. The second battle, Bubble versus Yunhauge. The white-haired old man announced. Many people's eyes immediately lit up. They realized that every battle that followed was very attractive. Bubble and Yunhauge had both mastered the law of spacetime. Moreover, according to the great emperor, Bubble's original form was a divine beast with a great background. Everyone wanted to know what Bubble's original form was. Bubble, do your best. Lu Ming patted Bubble's little head. Don't worry. That guy is weird. I'll definitely beat him up. Chirp chirp. Bubble cried out. Not far away, Yunhauge's face was full of black lines. What did she mean by him being eccentric? How was he being eccentric? Chapter 21-22. Be my pet beast. We both cultivate the laws of space and time. It's beneficial to both of us. Yunhauge said again. It's the same the other way around. You can be my pet. Bubble pouted. Yunhauge's expression darkened. If you don't agree, I'll beat you until you do. Yunhauge moved. As he moved, the space around him rippled like water. His body seemed to be traveling through space at an incredible speed. Many people saw him move. In the next moment, Yunhauge's body was already in front of Bubble. He grabbed at Bubble with his hand. Bubble didn't have time to dodge and was caught by the hand. However, with a bang, Yunhauge caught nothing. The Bubble's figure shattered like an illusion. It was only a mirror image. Bubble had already left. Just as Yunhauge grabbed Bubble's mirror image, Bubble's figure suddenly appeared behind Yunhauge. He reached out with his small hand and attacked Yunhauge. However, Yunhauge's figure also shattered at the same time. This was also a mirror image. Yunhauge's figure had also left. In an instant, Yunhauge's figure appeared behind Bubble. Not only that, dozens of Yunhauge's figures appeared in other parts of the battle platform as well. This is fun, chirp chirp. Bubble cried. His small figure also disappeared. In the next moment, dozens of figures appeared and pounced at Yunhauge's figures. In an instant, figures flashed on the battle platform. One figure after another flashed, but they were defeated one after another. In the end, it was discovered that they were all mirror images. Not a single one hit the real body. Many of the weaker cultivators were dazzled by the sight. They couldn't see the real body or the mirror image. They could only see the space rippling like water on the battle platform. One figure after another flashed and attacked. In the blink of an eye, there were dozens and hundreds of figures crisscrossing each other. As time passed, the speed reached an extreme. In the end, the two figures couldn't be seen at all. Lu Ming channeled his saint power into his eyes to capture the two figures. Amazing! Both of them have reached an extremely profound level in the use of the laws of space and time. A true emperor exclaimed. The space-time laws were extremely mysterious to begin with. Ordinary people would not even be able to touch someone who controlled the space-time laws. This was the use of space and time, the collision of time and space. It had only been a minute, but the two of them had already exchanged countless blows. Let me break your space-time laws. Yunhauge was getting impatient. All of his silhouettes disappeared, leaving only one behind. Boom! The aura on his body became even more violent. The surging power of the world rushed out together with the space-time law. With him as the center, the space constantly collapsed and exploded. Even time was messed up. Two-star Void Emperor. This was Yunhauge's current realm. He wanted to crush Bubble with his powerful cultivation base. Bang, bang. With him as the center, it was as if a level 12 hurricane had been set off, sweeping toward the Bubble. Wherever it passed, space exploded, time was thrown into chaos, and the mirror images of the Bubble collapsed one by one. Bubble's true body appeared, floating within the chaotic flow of space-time. Lose for me, Yunhauge said coldly. He took a step forward and appeared in front of Bubble. There was a sword in his hand. This was a battle sword condensed from the space-time force. It was extremely sharp and slashed toward Bubble. Bubble waved her small hand, and a space-time sword condensed in her hand as well, colliding with the opponent. Bang! The void trembled. Bubble's cultivation base was still a little weaker, only a one-star Void Emperor. She was not a match for Yunhauge in terms of strength. Instead, she was sent flying by the opponent. After Yunhauge sent Bubble flying, he chased after her and attacked Bubble again. After a few consecutive blows, Bubble was suppressed and fell into a disadvantageous position. Yunhauge used his stronger cultivation base to constantly shatter the surrounding space and disrupt the space-time force, forcing Bubble to face him head-on. Bubble, you can do it! Lu Xiang, Ouyang Moli, and the others shouted, cheering for Bubble. Be my beast pet. Yunhauge's eyes were cold as he stared at Bubble. Chirp chirp, Bubble cried out, her eyes filled with anger. Her body emitted a white light, and in the next moment, Bubble directly transformed into her true body. It was a small spiritual mouse. Its fur was snow-white and sparkling, shining with a little luster. It was exceptionally cute. Could it be a space-time spiritual mouse? One of the top 10 beasts, the space-time spiritual mouse. Someone exclaimed, and the scene was in an uproar again. It's a space-time spiritual mouse. Yunhauge's eyes were burning with greed. He could not wait to take Bubble for himself. In the Yuan continent, there were some geniuses who could awaken the bloodlines of the top 10 beasts. The Yuan realm was vast and boundless, and there were many such geniuses. However, those geniuses who had awakened the bloodlines of the top 10 beasts were only humans after all. They had only awakened a little of their bloodline, and the difference between them and the top 10 beasts was too great. There were countless divine beasts in the world, but there were only 10 of the top 10 beasts. Each of the top 10 beasts was unique. In the world, it was impossible for 2 of the top 10 beasts to appear. Each of them was unique. Only when one of the top 10 beasts fell could a new one be born. In ancient times, each of the top 10 beasts was a pinnacle expert in the world. One could imagine how powerful and talented the top 10 beasts were. Now, it was a young space-time spiritual mouse. It was too rare. The space-time spiritual mouse is mine. Yunhauge roared in his heart. The space-time spiritual mouse was born to control space-time. If he could get it, it would be of great help to him. Surrender! Yunhauge continued to attack Bubble. Human pet, you're the one who's surrendering. Bubbles shouted. Her body glowed, and white rays of light spread out, causing the void to ripple like water again. Bubbles' figure disappeared. She traveled through space-time without leaving a trace. At the same time, the endless space in all directions was shrinking, squeezing toward Yunhauge. Yunhauge shouted. His 2-star illusionary emperor cultivation was fully unleashed. Together with his space-time law, he wanted to shatter the surrounding space. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. He felt that his space-time law was being suppressed. What was even more shocking was that his space-time law was being manipulated instead. The space-time law that he unleashed was oppressing him instead. Bang! Yunhauge's body shook violently. The endless space-time power pressed on his body, piercing through his power of the world. His body flew out, and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. What's going on? Many people were dumbfounded. Just now, Yunhauge clearly had the upper hand. How did the situation turn completely around in the blink of an eye? Yunhauge was injured by Bubble in one move. Chapter 21-23. Yunhauge is being restrained. A great emperor explained. Restrained? Some people were confused, while others were deep in thought. One of the top 10 battle beasts, the space-time spirit mouse, is born with the ability to control space-time. Although Yunhauge is the space-time son, he's still a bit weaker than the space-time spirit mouse. Therefore, he's being restrained in terms of space-time laws. The martial monarch explained once again. Everyone was enlightened. The space-time spirit mouse could only unleash its true strength after revealing its true form. It could use the space-time laws to the fullest, and even control Yunhauge's space-time laws. It could be said that Yunhauge was no longer a match for Bubbles. Bubble traveled through space-time. Her body was small, but wherever she passed, space-time followed. The space wrapped around her like water, and endless space-time power charged at Yunhauge. Yunhauge roared. He was a little unwilling and wanted to flip over. Unfortunately, it was useless. At this moment, he couldn't control the space-time laws effectively. It was extremely difficult to control them. Without the space-time laws, how could he be Bubbles' opponent? He was sent flying again and coughed up blood. With your strength, you want to take me as a pet beast? You're overestimating yourself. I said that you'd be more suitable to be my human pet. Hurry up and kneel down and call me master. Bubble was extremely excited. She traveled through the void and slapped Yunhauge with her little paw. Yunhauge roared in anger. He unleashed his full strength, but it was useless. He couldn't defy the heavens. He was completely suppressed by Bubble. In the end, his face was scratched by Bubble, leaving a claw mark. "You have my mark on your face. You're now my human pet." Chirp chirp, chirp chirp. Bubble screamed excitedly. Jianghu was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. Many people were speechless. They could see that compared to the space-time spirit mouse, Bubble was still in its infancy. She wasn't deliberately humiliating Jianghu. However, in Jianghu's eyes, it was a blatant humiliation. He roared in anger, but in the end he still rushed down the battle platform in humiliation and admitted defeat. He knew that if he continued to fight, he would only be humiliating himself. That guy. Yes, that guy has a good relationship with the space-time spirit mouse. I'll take revenge on him later. Jianghu was infuriated. He glanced at Lu Ming. He couldn't beat Bubbles, so he could only get back at her from Lu Ming. Lu Ming noticed Jianghu's gaze and was speechless. Why was this guy staring at him with a face full of resentment? Lu Ming pursed his lips and didn't take it to heart. If this guy didn't know what was good for him, he wouldn't mind giving him a beating when they met again. Bubbles won the match. Bubble transformed back into human form and hung on Lu Ming's neck. "Big brother Lu Ming, I'm awesome, right?" Chirp. Bubbles pouted. "Amazing, amazing. Bubbles is the best." Lu Ming said with a smile. "Bubbles is the best. Come, let sister hug you." Lu Xiang walked over and looked at Bubbles, her eyes shining. Lu Xiang's eyes were twinkling with little stars after seeing Bubbles' original form. "Little guy, don't be rude. You have to call me auntie." Chirp. Bubbles pouted and looked at Lu Xiang with disdain. Lu Xiang immediately retreated with a bitter face, causing Chiao Autumn Moon, Huang Ling, and the others to laugh. Everyone looked at Lu Ming with envy in their eyes. Lu Ming not only had 2 Elysian children as his disciples, but he also seemed to have a good relationship with the space-time spirit mouse. Especially Jianghu, his eyes were full of jealousy. The third match, Yuan Xen against the ancient demon. The white-haired old man announced again. The scene fell silent, and everyone's attention was drawn back. 2 figures stepped into the arena. It was Yuan Xin and the ancient demon. Boom. Without saying much, they directly attacked. A terrifying collision occurred. The son of chaos, Yuan Xin, punched the air with astonishing power. It was like a huge mountain pressing down on the ancient demon. The ancient demon was covered in demonic light. He cultivated the primordial path of demons, and his attack power was astonishing. He clashed fiercely with Yuan Xin. In the first 10 moves, the two were evenly matched. After 10 moves, Yuan Xin did not hold back and unleashed his full strength. 2-star illusionary emperor. This was Yuan Xin's strength, and he had already reached the peak of the 2-star illusionary emperor. 2 years ago, Yuan Xin had just broken through to the martial emperor realm. After cultivating for 2 years, he had already reached the peak of the 2-star illusionary emperor realm. This speed was very shocking. Every breakthrough in the martial emperor realm was very difficult and required a lot of time. Some martial emperors were trapped in the same realm for hundreds of thousands of years and could not break through. In the end, they died under the lightning tribulation. This was also because Yuan Xin had entered that space that he could break through so quickly. Yuan Xin, who had unleashed his full strength, was extremely terrifying. He could completely suppress the ancient demon. It was not that the ancient demon was weak. He was very strong, and there were not many opponents at the same level as him. Unfortunately, his cultivation was still a little weak. He was only a 1-star illusionary emperor, and it was difficult for him to fight against Yuan Xin. After a few moves, the ancient demon coughed out blood and retreated. He was defeated by Yuan Xin. It's a pity that the ancient demon's cultivation is still a little weak. If he reaches the 2-star illusionary emperor realm, he might be able to compete with Yuan Xin. The power of the primordial path of demons is really amazing. Some people discussed looking at the potential of the ancient demon. However, in the next moment, the crowd looked forward to it even more. There were 4 people left, Tianming, Wu Liang, Bao De and Xieku. These 4 people were extremely terrifying geniuses. 2 years ago, they had already broken through to the martial emperor realm. Next, the 4 of them were going to fight. It would definitely be a battle of the peak. Wu Liang, Xieku, the white-haired old man announced. The crowd immediately became nervous. Wu Liang was a Buddhist genius who had suddenly risen in recent years. He had displayed unparalleled talent. He had been bragging to the outside world that he was the reincarnation of the Buddha God and that his previous life was an unparalleled almighty. Although his character was sometimes criticized, his talent and combat strength were real. He stood at the peak of Yuan continent. As for Xieku, he was a real dragon who had cultivated the primordial path of demons. He had an unparalleled demonic body and was also incomparably powerful. Who would win? The crowd was filled with anticipation. 2 figures stepped into the fighting ring. I have hair. Benefactor, you and I are fated. Why don't you be my guardian divine beast? Wu Liang said with a straight face. Monk, are you insulting me? I will twist your head off. Xieku's face was ferocious. Xieku came from the land of divine beasts. The land of divine beasts was home to various powerful divine beasts such as real dragons, phoenixes, and cheelants. He was the #1 genius in the land of divine beasts. Now, Wu Liang wanted to take him in as his guardian divine beast. How could he not be angry? I have hair. Benefactor, you want to twist my head off as soon as you open your mouth. Your killing intent is too strong. You should return to Buddhism and refine your killing intent. Wu Liang said with a straight face. Lu Ming and Long Chen despised him. This monk was definitely up to no good. Refine your head. Chapter 21-24. The purple gold true dragon could be said to be the royal family of the true dragons and was extremely powerful. The dragon claw stepped on the air and clawed at Monk Wu Liang. There was no fluctuation of the laws, but no one doubted the power of the claw. It could easily tear a 1-star empty emperor apart. You're so stubborn. Be careful, I'll catch you and cook you for my wine. Monk Wu Liang shouted. Everyone looked at each other. Lu Ming and Long Chen looked at Monk Wu Liang with disdain once again. This was probably Monk Wu Liang's true intention. Unscrupulous monk's body glowed with golden light. Behind him, a golden Buddha statue appeared. It was 100 feet tall. Unscrupulous monk stood on top of the Buddha statue. The Buddha statue waved its hand, and a mountain-like hand blasted towards Chil. Boom! A terrifying vibration sounded. The 2 of them were evenly matched. 9 attacks of the demon god. Xieku let out a long roar and unleashed a terrifying attack technique of the immemorial demonic Tao. His body glowed as 5 dragon claws attacked continuously. Each attack was terrifying to the extreme, capable of tearing apart the void and shattering the earth. Fortunately, this battle stage was made by a great emperor and was indestructible. No matter how they fought, they could not destroy it. Buddha kingdom in the palm. Heartless monk had a dignified appearance as he displayed the great divine ability of Buddhism. He stretched out his hand and a palm stretched out. It rapidly enlarged and pressed towards Chil. There seemed to be a Buddha kingdom in his palm. There were 3,000 golden arhats chanting scriptures. The golden light was more dazzling than the sun. Boom! Boom! Monk Wu Liang and Xieku's cultivation had both reached the 2-star empty emperor realm. They were extremely powerful. The dragon's roar shook the sky and the chanting of scriptures resounded throughout Destiny Mountain. The 2 of them continued to exchange blows and exchanged dozens of blows. What terrifying combat strength! I'm afraid that an ordinary 3-star empty emperor would be torn apart instantly. Someone from the empty emperor realm said solemnly. He has just broken through to the martial emperor realm and hasn't comprehended any other laws. Yet he's already so terrifying. The others exclaimed. There were many factors that determined one's combat strength in the martial emperor realm. However, it was shocking to have such combat strength after just breaking through to the empty emperor realm a few years ago. The 2 of them fought fiercely. They used all kinds of trump cards and displayed a pinnacle battle. This was the most intense battle in the competition for the top 10 positions. The two of them were evenly matched, and it was difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. The battle lasted for more than 200 rounds. I am the reincarnation of the Buddha God. Little worm, come and protect me. In the future, you will live a good life. If I have meat to eat, you will have soup to drink. Unscrupulous monk shouted as he fought. Chil was so angry that his nose was about to become crooked. He was a purple gold true dragon, a royal among the true dragons, yet he was called a little reptile. Also, aren't Buddhists vegetarians? Why the F***ck are you eating meat? Amitba. Some of the Buddhists who were watching the battle had solemn expressions on their faces. They chanted the name of Buddha and seemed a little embarrassed. However, although Wu Liang was unreliable, his battle prowess was indeed ridiculously strong, making people shudder. From the start of the battle until now, his body was blooming with tens of thousands of rays of Buddha's light. It was as if the more he fought, the more courageous he became. It was as if the Buddha had truly turned around, and the Dharma of Buddhism was boundless. Many people were indignant. This fella was so unreliable, but his Buddhist divine abilities were inconceivably powerful. It really made them envious. The battle continued, and both of them were injured. Chil's scales fell off, and he was dripping with blood. On the other hand, unscrupulous monk was scratched by the dragon claws, and a few hideous claw marks appeared. One of his arms was almost torn off. This was a tragic battle. You are too cruel. Be careful of retribution. Wu Liang shouted, but he was more ruthless than anyone else. All kinds of Buddhist divine abilities greeted Chil's body, and a large number of scales fell off. These scales are treasures. Don't waste them. And the dragon blood, take it back and make soup. In the battle, unscrupulous monk did not forget to take the dragon scales and dragon blood. Chil was so angry that his lungs almost exploded. He was so angry that he attacked crazily. In his anger, he finally revealed a flaw. Unscrupulous monk seized the opportunity and continuously attacked him fiercely. He vomited blood and kept retreating. In a battle between experts, a step behind would lead to a step behind. Once Chil was at a disadvantage, it was difficult for him to reverse the situation. At first, he was suppressed by unscrupulous monk, and finally, he was knocked out of the fighting ring. Unscrupulous won this battle. Me-haired, thank you for letting me win. Well, about the protector I mentioned before, please consider it. Unscrupulous monk's eyes could not leave Chil. He imagined how cool it would be if he had a purple gold true dragon as a mount. Get lost. Chil roared. You and I are really fated. Unscrupulous monk shouted again. Fated my ass. Chil vomited another mouthful of blood, turned into his human form, and ran to the side to heal. Me-haired little girl, you and I are fated. Unscrupulous monk stared at Bubbles again and walked toward Lu Ming. Get lost. Lu Ming directly kicked unscrupulous monk's face. Lu Ming, you're too ruthless. I'm injured and you still attacked me. I'll recuperate first. Unscrupulous monk smiled and retreated to the side to heal. Next, Tianming, bout. The white-haired old man announced. Everyone's eyes lit up. Even Lu Ming was the same. Tianming was going to fight Baoda. Everyone was curious about what kind of ability Tianming would use in this battle. Previously, Tianming had defeated his opponent without even taking a single step. But now, could he do the same against Baoda? Baoda was a primordial physique cultivator. He was extremely powerful and definitely not weaker than Chil and Wu Liang. It would not be easy to defeat Baoda. Boom! Baoda landed heavily on the fighting ring. His dark skin was flowing with black light, full of power. He was 3 meters tall, like an iron tower. Tianming, come on, let's fight. I want to see how you can control my fate with the law of destiny. Baoda shouted, his voice rumbling like thunder. Your fate is sealed. You will lose. Tianming stepped down from the sky, his white robe fluttering. He landed on the fighting ring like an immortal. Whether I lose or not is not up to you to decide. Show me your strength. Baoda shouted, then took a step forward and rushed toward Tianming like a primordial beast. You are destined to be struck by lightning. Tianming said with a gentle smile on his face. As soon as he finished speaking, countless lightning bolts appeared out of thin air and struck toward Baoda. Baoda did not care, allowing the lightning to strike his body. He rushed through it, unharmed. The lightning could not break through his defense at all. Is that all you have? Are you trying to scratch my itch? Baoda grinned and did not stop. He charged toward Tianming and punched out. The void shook as a fist force blasted toward Tianming. It is destined that you can't hit me, Tianming said. Chapter 21-25. Everyone was shocked. The law of destiny was too invincible. He said that he was fated not to be hit, but his opponent really couldn't hit him. How was he supposed to fight then? Baoda's attack isn't strong enough. If it was, he could have broken through the law of destiny. An expert spoke up to clear everyone's doubts. You're fated to be burned by fire. You're fated to be cut down. Tianming continued to speak, his speed extremely fast. Then, all kinds of attacks fell from the sky, blasting toward Baoda. Boom! Boom! Baoda waved his fist, instantly dispersing the attacks. I've been burning my body with fire and refining it with lightning since I was young. Your attacks can only scratch an itch for me. Baoda's battle intent grew stronger and stronger. He broke through the layers of attacks and quickly approached Tianming. His muscles wriggled and his bones cracked as he punched with all his might. The power of this punch was even more shocking and powerful than before. At this moment, Tianming's expression finally turned serious. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Destiny says, absolute defense. A white wall of light appeared in front of him. Baoda's fist struck the wall of light, causing a terrifying explosion that caused the entire platform to shake. Ha, you finally made your move. It seems like your strength is only SOSO. Baoda laughed, then waved his fist, causing the wall of light in front of Tianming to shake continuously. Baoda, you're fated to be injured. Tianming spoke again. His body emitted a bright light as he stretched out his finger. At this moment, Baoda roared. He seemed to have been hit by an invisible and terrifying attack. His body shook and he took a few steps back, blood flowing from his mouth. Everyone was shocked. They didn't see anything attacking Baoda at all. They only knew that Baoda was going to be injured, and he was injured. This kind of method was too shocking and unbelievable. Your attack power is limited. If you have the ability, just kill me directly. Let's see if you can do it. Baoda roared and charged toward Tianming again. His body swelled up, and his originally burly body became even more shocking. He was like a giant born into the world. Boom! Baoda stomped heavily on the platform, and like a black lightning, he pressed down on Tianming like a demonic mountain. You're fated to be injured, Tianming spoke again, unleashing a series of profound attacks. Break all techniques with one force. Baoda roared as he punched out with both his fists. The void was pierced through, and Tianming's attacks were all destroyed by Baoda. Baoda's strength is terrifying. His strength is slightly above Wuliang and Xieku's. A natural primordial body cultivator. If such a person were to cultivate in the nomological system, he would be trash. However, if he were to cultivate in the primordial body cultivation, he would be an incomparably rare genius. Experts spoke one after another, all shocked by Baoda's strength. Tianming's expression was a little grave, but it was only a little. Great fate. He spoke softly, and the light on his body became even brighter. Boom! With a wave of his hand, a divine light slashed toward Baoda. Don't. Baoda continued to swing his fists, bombarding the divine light. However, the divine light was indestructible and unshakable. With every punch, Baoda had to retreat a little. After dozens of punches, Baoda had retreated dozens of miles and was out of the fighting ring. At that moment, the divine light dissipated. Damn it, I haven't fought enough. Let's fight again. Baoda roared like a berserk beast. Then, his body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. You've lost. Tianming regained his indifferent expression and turned to leave. What strength? It's hard to estimate. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and looked at Tianming. Tianming gave off an unfathomable feeling. Although Bao De had forced out a part of Tianming's strength, no one knew if that was Tianming's final strength or if he was still hiding it. Not only Lu Ming, but the other geniuses, such as Yuan Xian, Xie and Yun Haoge, all had grave expressions. Tianming's strength gave them a lot of pressure. I really want to fight with you. I'll prove to everyone who's the strongest in the world. Yuan Xian whispered, his battle intent surging. How am I supposed to fight with this freak? Wu Liang had a bitter face. All right, the first round of the competition is over. Lu Ming, Bubbles, Wu Liang, Yuan Xian, and Tianming win, each gaining 1 point. Next, the second round, Lu Ming against Bubbles. The old man announced. Lu Ming and Bubbles were stunned. They met so quickly, that old man did it on purpose, right? I admit defeat. I won't fight with big brother Lu Ming. I admit defeat. Bubbles hung on Lu Ming's neck and refused to come down. The spectators were calm and were not too surprised. They had long known that it was impossible for Lu Ming and Bubbles to fight. One of them would definitely admit defeat. All right, Lu Ming wins this round. Next, Yun Haoge against Yuan Xian. The white-haired old man announced again. Yun Haoge against Yuan Xian. This was also a pinnacle battle, and the battle was incomparably intense. But in the end, Yuan Xian used 2 types of laws and fused them, defeating Yun Haoge in one fell swoop. This shocked everyone and made them re-evaluate Yuan Xian's combat strength. Yuan Xian had actually comprehended a second type of law, and it was a type of King Dao law. With the fusion of 2 types, his strength had increased exponentially. This made everyone marvel at Yuan Xian's talent. He had only become an emperor not long ago, and he had already comprehended a second type of law. Moreover, his mastery was not low. The third round of the second round, Xie against Heng Xinghe. This was a battle without any suspense. Heng Xinghe was crushed and lost 2 rounds in a row. The fourth round, Ancient Devil against Bao De. Both of them cultivated the ancient cultivation system. Unfortunately, Ancient Devil's cultivation was slightly weaker and was not Bao De's opponent. He was easily defeated by Bao De. The fifth round, Tianming against Monk Wuliang. Monk Wuliang was very straightforward. He did not even go on stage and directly admitted defeat. In his words, he was stupid to fight even though he knew he could not win. The second round of the competition ended. Only Lu Ming, Tianming, and Yuan Xian were still in a winning streak. After 10 rounds of battle, everyone had already begun to predict the rankings of the 10 people. Without a doubt, Tianming is the strongest. He will be the champion this time. It's hard to say. Yuan Xian is not weak either. What he has shown now might not be his full strength. Perhaps he can compete with Tianming. From the looks of it, the first 2 should be Tianming and Yuan Xian. The third is very likely to be Bao De, but it's not certain. In general, the top 5 should be Tianming, Yuan Xian, Bao De, Wu Liang, and Xie. Everyone made their own guesses, but most people believed that it should not be a problem for Tianming, Yuan Xian, Bao De, Wu Liang, and Xie to get into the top 5. What about Lu Ming? He's not weak either. He has mastered 2 types of ultimate laws. He's not weak. He has no problem suppressing Heng Xinghe and Ancient Devil. However, compared to Yun Haoge and Bubble, his strength is probably inferior. I estimate that Lu Ming's final ranking should be 7th. Chapter 21-26. As the crowd discussed, the third round began. Lu Ming's luck seemed to be pretty good. His first match was against the Ancient Devil. As expected, the Ancient Devil was very strong, but he was no match for Lu Ming. He was defeated by Lu Ming. This was the second time the Ancient Devil had been defeated by Lu Ming. Lu Ming won 3 consecutive matches. Lu Ming's winning streak will probably end here. The next opponents he will face will not be weak. They will all be stronger than him. That's right. He won 3 matches in a row. I estimate that he will lose 6 matches in a row. Some people discussed, thinking that Lu Ming's winning streak would end here. The second match of the third round was between Bubble and Cheel. This was an intense battle, a battle at the pinnacle. Although Bubble's cultivation was slightly weaker, after transforming into its original form, its strength had increased exponentially. Its control of space-time had reached an unimaginable level. Cheel was strong, but he could not hit Bubble. Of course, it was not easy for Bubble to defeat Cheel. It could be said that it was very difficult. In the end, after more than 200 moves, Cheel was careless and was teleported out of the stage by Bubble. In this battle, Bubbles won an unexpected victory. This made the crowd re-evaluate Bubble's strength. It also made them realize the strength of the top 10 battle beasts. In a battle of the same level, the Elysian Child was not as strong as the top 10 battle beasts. Next was Yuan Xian's match against Heng Xinghe. Needless to say, Heng Xinghe was defeated again. This made his expression turn uglier and uglier. Some people were already certain that Heng Xinghe would be ranked 10th. There was no suspense. The fourth match was between Wuliang and Baoda. This was another peak battle. Wuliang used Buddha's golden body and various Buddha's abilities, but Baoda broke through everything. The two of them exchanged hundreds of moves. Wuliang shouted, but it was useless this time. He could not defeat Baoda and was finally defeated and blasted out of the stage. Baoda won this match. The last match of the third round was between Tianming and Yunhauge. I can see my own fate in the river of time. Yunhauge roared and fought Tianming with the space-time law. The space-time law did have some restraining effect on the fate law. This was because he could peek into his own fate through the river of time. Of course, fate was constantly changing. What he saw was only the tip of the iceberg. Later on, Tianming used the greater fate art to sever Yunhauge's river of time and defeat him. At the end of the third round, Lu Ming, Tianming, and Yuan Xian won 3 consecutive victories. However, everyone thought that Lu Ming was just lucky in the first 3 rounds. He would lose consecutively in the later rounds. As for Heaven's Will and Yuanxin, they were obtained through fighting. After a few rounds, the white-haired elder allowed everyone to rest for half a day. Half a day later, the fourth round began. In the first match of the fourth round, Lu Ming was still the first to fight, but this time, his opponent was Yunhauge. Yunhauge looked excited. The two of them stepped onto the Colosseum. Lu Ming, your good luck has come to an end. You will suffer a crushing defeat in this round. I will make you understand that the space-time spirit mouse is not something you can possess. Yunhauge said coldly. Your space-time law is too weak. You are no match for me. Admit defeat, lest I attack you. Lu Ming was very direct. He told Yunhauge to admit defeat. This stunned everyone. They thought that Lu Ming was boasting too much. Although Lu Ming had mastered 2 supreme laws, which could be said to be unprecedented, he was only a quasi-emperor after all. How could he be a match for Yunhauge? Yunhauge's cultivation had already reached the 2-star Void Emperor level. Moreover, even if they fought at the same level, he was still one of the best among the Elysian children. With such a huge difference in cultivation, how could Lu Ming be a match for him? Huh, you want me to admit defeat? What a joke. I will teach you a lesson. Yunhauge said sinisterly. As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed towards Lu Ming. He shuttled through the void at an astonishing speed. In the process of Yunhauge dashing out, the void in all directions was distorted. A terrifying force suppressed Lu Ming's body. This force contained the power of time. It contained time deceleration, causing Lu Ming's speed to become as slow as a tortoise's. There was also the power of space. The space around Lu Ming continued to press down on Lu Ming, trying to bind him. On the contrary, Yunhauge's speed skyrocketed under the support of the space-time law. In an instant he was close to Lu Ming. He pointed a finger, and the power of space condensed. It contained a terrifying tearing force and charged towards Lu Ming. In the face of such a situation, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. Boom! He struggled with all his might. His physical body and saint power erupted. The void shook, and the power of space that acted on him continued to explode. Then, a long river of 2-colored laws appeared. This was the fusion of the chaos law and the death law. Boom! Lu Ming's arms shook, and he struck out with his palm. The void exploded, and the space-time law that acted on him was directly cut open. Lu Ming's palm blasted towards Yunhauge. But Yunhauge moved, and his body disappeared in an instant. He appeared behind Lu Ming and blasted towards Lu Ming. Bam! Lu Ming seemed to have eyes behind him. He struck out with his palm and collided with Yunhauge's palm. Yunhauge's body floated back. Then, his body trembled, and a dense crowd of figures appeared from all directions. So many figures charged towards Lu Ming at the same time. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. This was a terrifying killing move. Don't think that the dense crowd of figures were all illusions. In fact, these figures were all real. They were all Yunhauge's true body. He was shuttling through the void, walking in different spaces. This move was a move that he used in different spaces. Chaos Calamity Finger. In the face of this move, Lu Ming used the Chaos Calamity Finger. He reached out with both hands and pointed continuously. Push, push, push. Finger force burst forth, and each finger force pointed at a figure. Those figures exploded one by one, and finally turned into a figure. Then Yunhauge and Lu Ming exchanged dozens of blows, and the various mysteries of the space-time law were displayed incisively and vividly. However, his control of space-time was still not as good as Bubbles. Lu Ming protected himself with two types of laws. He stood firm and broke all of Yunhauge's attacks. Yunhauge finally lost his patience. I'll use my cultivation to suppress you. Yunhauge's eyes were cold, and his two-star Void Emperor cultivation completely erupted. He charged towards Lu Ming. Wherever he passed, a space-time storm flooded towards Lu Ming. A head-on clash? That's exactly what I want. Lu Ming smiled and stood there without moving. When Yunhauge was about to reach him, a long river of laws appeared on Lu Ming's body again. It was the long river of laws of formations. The long river of laws of formations fused with the chaos law and death law, causing the long river of laws around Lu Ming to turn into three colors. After fusing with another type of law of monarch, Lu Ming's battle strength increased greatly. Boom! He blasted out a palm, and the palm force was like an avalanche, blasting towards Yunhauge. Chapter 21-27. As soon as Yunhauge retreated, Lu Ming followed. His speed was astonishing as he approached Yunhauge. Boom! 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 Lu Ming instantly struck out hundreds of palms. The void exploded as hundreds of palm prints completely enveloped Yunhauge in all directions, disrupting space-time. At this moment, Yunhauge could not even escape using the law of space-time. He could only take Lu Ming's palm force head-on. He roared angrily, activating the law of space-time and erupting with the power of the world to fight Lu Ming head-on. After hundreds of consecutive palms, Yunhauge's body shook violently as if he had been electrocuted. The law of space-time that covered his body was shattered. His arms directly exploded, unable to withstand Lu Ming's palm force. Smash. In the end, Lu Ming slapped Yunhauge's face, knocking him to the ground and twitching there. Bam. Then, Lu Ming kicked Yunhauge's face, sending him flying out of the fighting ring. You want to torture me? You're not even close. Lu Ming said lightly. Yunhauge fell off the fighting ring, his face swollen like a pig's head. He only woke up after a long time. When he realized his situation, he was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. This time, he had embarrassed himself greatly. Big brother Lu Ming, well done, well done. Bubbles clapped her little hands in celebration. Many people looked at Lu Ming in a different light. Lu Ming was able to defeat Yunhauge, which was beyond many people's expectations. Yes, he has also mastered the law of array Dao. I didn't expect him to have cultivated 3 types of laws to perfection and even fused them together. He is indeed talented. He has cultivated 3 types of laws before becoming an emperor. It's rare. No wonder he has such strong combat strength. Every time a law was fused, its power would increase exponentially. Even many low-level void emperors would find it difficult to fuse 3 types of laws. Putting aside the fact that Lu Ming had mastered 2 supreme nomological laws, even if he had only mastered 3 ordinary nomological laws, his talent was still astonishing. Previously, everyone had thought that Lu Ming would only be able to get 7th place, unable to compete with Wu Liang, Xie Ku, and Bao De. But now they had changed their minds. Being able to defeat Yunhao showed that Lu Ming's strength was already at the level of Wu Liang, Xie Ku, Bao De and Bubble. He was qualified to compete for the top 5. Even though he had not become a martial emperor yet, he already had such achievements. It was truly shocking. Just like that, Lu Ming obtained 4 consecutive victories. The second match of the 4th round was between Bubbles and Heartless Monk. "My hair is rice, little one, you and I are really fated." On the fighting ring, Unscrupulous Monk looked at Bubbles seriously and almost drooled. This was one of the top 10 beasts. Unscrupulous Monk's heart burned with passion. "Monk, it seems like you're looking for a beating." Bubbles couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Unscrupulous Monk because this was what Lu Ming had taught her. If she saw Unscrupulous Monk, just attack. "Little one, you and I are really fated," Unscrupulous Monk shouted. He didn't hold back and was covered in Buddhist light. Those who didn't know Unscrupulous Monk would really be deceived by his appearance and think that he was an enlightened monk. Bubbles didn't dare to be careless. She directly transformed into her true form and rode on spacetime. The spacetime spirit mouse's combat strength was strong, and its control of spacetime was far above Yunhao's. This battle was extremely strange because Unscrupulous Monk couldn't hit Bubbles at all. No matter how he used the Buddhist kingdom in a palm, Buddhist lion's roar, Buddhist palm imprint, and other magical techniques, he couldn't do anything to Bubbles. Instead, he was sometimes caught off guard by Bubbles' sneak attacks. In the end, he was sent flying out of the fighting ring by Bubbles. "Monk, you're thick-skinned." Bubbles curled her lips. Bubbles could only send Unscrupulous Monk flying out of the fighting ring because Unscrupulous Monk's Buddhist golden body was indeed incomparably strong. Bubbles couldn't break it. Of course, if Bubbles' cultivation improved and was on the same level as Unscrupulous Monk, it would be a different story. The third match of the 4th round was between Yuan Xian and Xie Ku. This was another pinnacle battle between the Son of Chaos and the primordial path of monsters. Xie Ku transformed into a 1,000-meter-long purple-gold true dragon. His entire body flowed with purple light. His dragon claws tore through the void and he used the demon race's magical techniques to fight against Yuan Xian. However, although Xie Ku was very strong, he was still a little weaker than Yuan Xian. Yuan Xian unleashed 2 types of laws and defeated Xie Ku. Next, there was no suspense between Tianming and Xinghe. Xinghe directly admitted defeat. And the 5th match was between Bao De and Ancient Devil. There was no doubt that Bao De won. The 4th round ended, and not long after, the 5th round began. The first match of the 5th round was between Lu Ming and Xie Ku. Xie Ku's eyes were solemn. The strength that Lu Ming had displayed before was enough to threaten him. Therefore, Xie Ku used all his strength as soon as he attacked. He transformed into a purple-gold true dragon and pounced towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body glowed and a shocking dragon roar came out from it, causing Xie Ku's body to tremble and his face to change drastically. 9 dragons, Xie Ku's face was a little ugly. In a battle between experts, milliseconds were crucial. Xie Ku was slightly stunned. Lu Ming had already rushed over and unleashed the law of chaos, the law of death, and the law of array Dao. The 3 types of laws combined and unleashed a storm of attacks, suppressing Xie Ku. Xie Ku barely resisted dozens of moves and was blasted out of the fighting ring by Lu Ming. Lu Ming won. This made many people reevaluate Lu Ming's combat strength once again. They thought that he already had the strength to compete for the top 3. Lu Ming may be able to compete with Bao De, but compared to Yuan Xian and Tianming, he's still a little weaker. Yes, if nothing unexpected happens, he should be hovering between 3rd and 4th place. Some people discussed and reinferred the rankings. The first match of the 5th round ended. The second match was between Bubble and Yuan Xian. This battle was very intense. Bubble transformed into his original body and used the law of time to the extreme, changing unpredictably. However, Yuan Xian's strength was indeed powerful. Just like Lu Ming's previous battle with Yunhaoge, he used his powerful strength to break through the law of time. In this battle, Bubble did not win in the end. After many moves, seeing that he was at a disadvantage, he simply admitted defeat. The third match was between Wuliang and Elder Mo. Wuliang won. After that, Tianming and Baoda won respectively. Entering the sixth round, the atmosphere became heated in the first match. Because the first match was between Lu Ming and Baoda. In the eyes of most people, Lu Ming and Baoda were now at the same level and were strong candidates to compete for third place. In this match, whoever won would be able to get third place. Lu Ming, you're amazing. You haven't become an emperor yet, but you have such combat strength. The old Bao admire you. But this match, the winner will definitely be me. Baoda grinned, his eyes revealing a fierce light like a big black bear. Big guy, don't be so sure. Lu Ming smiled slightly. Then let me see just how strong the fusion of two supreme laws of nature is. Baoda revealed a ferocious look. He took a step forward, and his whole body was like a mountain, crashing toward Lu Ming. Chapter 21-28. The fist force whistled and the space trembled. This was pure strength. The strength of the physical body was extremely powerful and shocking. Primordial body cultivator, I want to see how powerful your physical body is. Lu Ming did not evade. He erupted with 3 types of laws and used the chaotic divine palm. The palm and fist collided, and there was an earth-shattering roar. The space where the fist and palm collided was like a ripple of water, constantly shaking. Lu Ming and Baoda's bodies shook at the same time, and they both took a few steps back. What a terrifying strength! Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. Baoda relied purely on his physical strength. It was simply terrifying. That punch had shaken Lu Ming's 3 types of laws and almost pierced through them. Lu Ming's physical body had refined 3 streaks of chaotic qi and had been tempered by 5 types of laws. It was already extremely powerful, but compared to Baoda, it was still a far cry. It was said that during the primordial age of the heaven realm, there was a primordial body cultivator who had an invincible physical body. He could cross the sky, stand on the ground, and explode the stars in the sky with a single punch. He was unbelievably powerful. When the physical body was cultivated to the extreme, it would be indestructible and immortal, existing with the heavens and earth. Again! Baoda roared, and like a wild beast, he charged at Lu Ming. His muscles bulged and his body swelled again. Come! Lu Ming shouted. 3 types of laws surrounded him, and he erupted his physical strength and saint power to the extreme to fight Baoda. The 2 of them were like 2 wild beasts, constantly colliding in the fighting ring. There was no technique, just pure head-on confrontation. Baoda was a primordial body cultivator. His physical strength was boundless and indestructible. Even an ordinary imperial weapon would be destroyed by Baoda's punch. As for Lu Ming, his physical body was also very strong, and his saint power was condensed and thick. Most importantly, the chaotic law was originally as heavy as a mountain, suppressing the world. With the support of the chaotic law, Lu Ming's strength was also boundless. The 2 of them had similar styles, and they constantly collided with each other, causing the fighting ring to rumble. If they were fighting outside, it would definitely be a scene of mountains collapsing and the earth cracking. How terrifying! Seeing the 2 of them fighting, many people's faces turned pale. It was too ferocious. Under such power, any technique was superfluous. Even ultimate laws would be torn. Even if a 2-star Void Emperor were, he would be easily. The 2 of them fought continuously. Great! Lu Ming let out a long howl. After an intense confrontation, he had become increasingly proficient in the application of several laws, especially the law of chaos. The law of primal chaos and the law of forming a river were already perfect at this stage. But the fog had finally dispersed. Baoda also laughed, and his attacks became more and more violent. In the blink of an eye, the 2 of them had fought over 100 rounds. At this point, the more Lu Ming fought, the braver he became. Finally, he began to gain the upper hand and Baoda began to defend himself. Bam! Baoda began to retreat. Every step he took caused the fighting ring to rumble violently. Stop, I'm not fighting anymore, I'm not fighting anymore. At this moment, Baoda suddenly shouted. Lu Ming retreated. Baoda gasped for breath. He was sweating profusely. It took him a long time to recover. You pervert, I'll admit defeat today. Let's fight another day. Baoda said. Okay, sure. Lu Ming nodded. It was beneficial for him to have a powerful opponent to fight against. Baoda leaped and rushed down the fighting ring. Lu Ming won. Many people widened their eyes. Lu Ming defeated Baoda. It seemed that he would be in the top 3. This was beyond many people's expectations. Previously, they thought that Lu Ming would be good enough to be in the 7th place. Now, the ranking can be seen. Many people began to infer the ranking based on the previous battle results. Everyone thought that the 1st and 2nd place should be between Tian Ming and Yuan Exin. Lu Ming was 3rd, Baoda was 4th, and Bubbles was 5th. That was the situation for the top 5. Now, everyone was looking forward to the highlight. That was Tian Ming versus Yuan Exin. As long as the two of them could defeat each other, the top 10 rankings would be set. Humph, don't underestimate my master. Maybe my master can defeat Yuan Exin and Tian Ming. Lu Xiang pouted when she heard that the people around her thought that Lu Ming could only be in the 3rd place. Ha, little girl, you're really blindly confident. Your master is strong, but it's impossible for him to compete with Tian Ming and Yuan Exin. He's definitely no match for them. We can understand the little girl's confidence in her master, but you have to see the reality. Several gray-haired old men reminded Lu Xiang kindly. Humph, your eyes are not right at all. Previously, you said that my master could only be in the 7th place. Lu Xiang pursed her lips. We were wrong before, but this time, there's no mistake. Several old men were sure. Lu Xiang pouted, too lazy to pay attention to these old men. The competition continued. Bubble fought Tian Ming. Bubble directly admitted defeat. He was too lazy to compete since he couldn't win anyway. Then, Xieku defeated Yunhauge, Yuan Exin defeated Wu Liang, and the ancient demon defeated Heng Xinghe. In this way, Heng Xinghe was already in the last place. He was even inferior to the ancient demon. In general, in this round, except for Lu Ming unexpectedly defeating Baoda, the other matches were expected by everyone. The 6th round ended, and the 7th round began. Tian Ming versus Yuan Exin. The gray-haired old man said. As soon as the voice came out, the scene fell silent, and then there was an uproar. The highlight of the show had arrived. The biggest highlight of the show had arrived. Tian Ming versus Yuan Exin. This seemed to be deliberately arranged by the gray-haired old man. In the previous rounds, Lu Ming fought in the 1st round. Now, the first match of the 7th round was between Tian Ming and Yuan Exin. The atmosphere was suddenly ignited. Countless people revealed looks of anticipation. In the eyes of the crowd, this was a battle between the two strongest geniuses of the primordial realm. Tian Ming and Yuan Exin also exuded a strong fighting spirit. Their gazes collided across the air. Although both of them came from the Divine Fate Land and were known as the peerless geniuses of the Divine Fate Land, they had never fought before. Lu Ming's eyes also revealed a look of anticipation. He had a feeling that Tian Ming and Yuan Exin had not used their full strength in the previous battle. This battle was enough to show how strong the two of them were. Their figures flashed, and the two rushed directly to the battle stage. Boom! Terrifying auras collided across the air, and a violent explosion erupted. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.